Marcus, please. The baby. I pounded on the car window, my fists leaving desperate smudges on the glass. Through the tinted window, I could see my 3-month-old daughter Emma strapped in her car seat, her face already turning red from the heat. It was July in Phoenix, and the temperature on the dashboard read 104 degrees. My husband had locked us in his BMW 15 minutes ago, right here in the parking garage of our apartment complex. He'd stormed out after I dared to disagree with him about the way he'd spoken to the pediatrician that morning. His exact words before he slammed the door still echoed in my head. Stay here until you learn to shut up and agree with me, Sophie. Maybe the heat will teach you some respect. I'd tried everything. The child locks were engaged. My phone was in my purse, which Marcus had grabbed on his way out. Emma's cries were getting weaker, and that terrified me more than when she was screaming. I knew what that meant. Heat stroke. I yanked at the door handle again, knowing it was useless. That's when I heard it. A tap on the window. An elderly Asian man stood outside, his weathered face creased with concern. He was wearing a simple work shirt with Chen's Laundry embroidered on the pocket. He must have been in his mid-60s, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. "You stuck?" he called through the glass. I nodded frantically, pointing at Emma. "My baby!" "Please," he locked us in. "I can't get out. She's overheating." I didn't see him hesitate for even a second. He disappeared from view, and I heard him running. 30 seconds later, he was back with a tire iron. "Cover baby's face," he ordered. I threw myself over Emma's car seat just as I heard the crash of breaking glass. The passenger window exploded inward. Hot air rushed in, but it was still cooler than the suffocating heat inside the car. "Mister," Chen reached through carefully, avoiding the remaining shards, and unlocked the door from the inside. "Come," he said simply, helping me unbuckle Emma and guiding us toward a storefront I'd never really noticed before. Chen's Laundry and Dry Cleaning was tucked between a nail salon and a convenience store on the ground floor of our building. The blast of air conditioning inside felt like heaven. Mr. Chen pulled out a chair and wet a clean towel with cool water. "For baby," he said, showing me how to gently dab Emma's face and neck. He grabbed a bottle of water from a mini fridge. "You drink, slowly." My hands shook as I took the bottle. Emma's crying had become stronger again, which was actually a good sign. I cradled her close, cooling her down gently as Mr. Chen had shown me. "I'm Sophie," I managed to say. "We live in 4B. I don't know how to thank you." "No need to thank," he said, waving his hand. "You call police now. What he did, this is crime. Could kill baby." "I can't." The words tumbled out before I could stop them. "He's my husband. It was just a fight. He didn't mean..." "Sophie." Mr. Chen's voice was gentle but firm. "I run this shop 40 years. I see many things. This not just a fight. This is danger." He paused, studying my face. "You have bruises here." He gestured to his own wrist, and I instinctively pulled my sleeves down over the finger marks Marcus had left there 3 days ago. Tears started falling before I could stop them. "I don't have anywhere to go. My mum died 2 years ago. I don't have family, and I can't work right now because Emma's so small, so I can't afford." "My son is lawyer," Mr. Chen interrupted. "Divorce lawyer, domestic violence cases. Very good lawyer. I call him now." He pulled out his phone. "You stay here. Upstairs I have small apartment. Used to rent, now empty. You and baby stay there tonight. Tomorrow, we fix this." I should have argued. I should have said I couldn't impose. But Emma chose that moment to let out a healthy, angry cry, and all I could think was that 20 minutes ago, I thought I might lose her. Because of Marcus, because I'd talked back. "Okay," I whispered. Mr. Chen made his call, speaking rapidly in Mandarin. Then he disappeared into the back and returned with keys and a baby bottle. "My daughter-in-law leave this here last time she visit. Still sealed. You can use." I stared at this stranger who was saving my life. "Why are you helping us?" Mr. Chen's eyes grew distant. "Long time ago, not good husband. I drink too much. I yell. He paused, choosing his words carefully. "My wife. She leave me. Take our son. I was angry for long time. But then I go to AA. I go to therapy. I learn why I do these things. I become a different person." He looked at me directly. "But my wife?" She never come back. She right not to. It take me 5 years to change. 5 years. Your husband. He gestured toward the parking garage. He not even start changing. He not even think he wrong. You understand? I nodded slowly. My son David, he be here in 20 minutes. He help you. You not alone anymore, Sophie. True to his word, David Chen arrived exactly 20 minutes later. He was in his late 30s, dressed in a sharp suit, despite it being Saturday, carrying a briefcase. He had his father's kind eyes but a steel to his jaw that said he was all business. Miss Sophie, he said, extending his hand. My father explained the situation. First, are you and the baby all right? Do you need medical attention? We're okay now, I said, thanks to your father. Good. He pulled out a laptop and a yellow legal pad. Now, I need you to tell me everything. Start from the beginning. How long have you been married? When did the abuse start? And I need to know, has he ever hurt Emma? Never, I said quickly. Today was the first time he put her in danger. Usually it's just me. David's expression didn't change, but I saw his hand tighten on his pen. Just you, he repeated quietly. Okay, let's document everything. I'm going to file an emergency restraining order first thing Monday morning, and we're going to file for divorce simultaneously. But I need to be honest with you, Sophie. What your husband did today, leaving you and an infant locked in a hot car in Phoenix summer, that's not just domestic violence. That's criminal endangerment of a child. That's potentially attempted murder. The word murder made my blood run cold. But David continued, his voice matter of fact. The police need to be involved. My father's shop has security cameras. We have footage of him locking you in and walking away. We have footage of you trying to escape. We have him on camera coming back 35 minutes later, seeing the broken window and leaving again without checking on you or the baby. That's evidence. He came back? I hadn't known that. Oh, yes. David pulled out his phone and showed me the footage. There was Marcus, looking at the broken window, looking around the parking garage, and then getting into his Mercedes and driving away. He knew what he'd done. He saw that someone had rescued you. And he left. Didn't call 911. Didn't come looking for you. Just left. I felt something crack inside my chest. It wasn't my heart breaking that had happened months ago. It was the last piece of denial finally shattering. What do I need to do? I asked. David smiled for the first time. You already did it. You got yourself and Emma out safely. Now you let me handle the rest. The next 3 days were a blur. Mr. Chen's apartment above the laundry was small but clean, with a Murphy bed, a tiny kitchenette, and most importantly, strong locks that Marcus didn't have keys to. David worked fast. By Monday afternoon, Marcus had been served with both a restraining order and divorce papers. The police had also shown up at his office to take his statement about the incident. I was doing laundry in Mr. Chen's shop, Emma napping in a portable crib that David's wife had dropped off, when my phone rang. Marcus. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again, and again. On the 4th call, I answered. What do you want, Marcus? Sophie, baby. What the hell? The police showed up at my office. Do you have any idea how embarrassing that was? And a restraining order? Are you insane? I was surprised by how calm I felt. You left our daughter in a hot car. You left me trapped with her. We could have died. Oh, come on, don't be dramatic. I was only gone for like 10 minutes. 35 minutes. There's video. Silence. Then, in a different tone, softer, more manipulative. Soph, listen. I know I messed up. I was stressed about the Henderson deal falling through, and I took it out on you. That wasn't fair. But you know I'd never actually hurt you or Emma. Come home. We can work this out. No. No? What do you mean no? I'm your husband. Emma's father. You're being ridiculous. I mean no, Marcus. I'm done. My lawyer will be in touch about custody arrangements and asset division. Your lawyer? He laughed, but it sounded forced. You can't afford a lawyer. You don't have any money. It's all in my accounts, remember? You don't even have a job. Goodbye, Marcus. I hung up. My hands were shaking, but I felt lighter than I had in 3 years. Mr. Chen appeared from the back room with 2 cups of tea. He set one down next to me without a word, just patted my shoulder gently. He called, I said. He will call many times. Men like him, they not used to hearing. No. Make them crazy. He sipped his tea. You did good. You stay strong. Over the next few weeks, I fell into a routine. I'd wake up with Emma, feed her, and then come downstairs to help Mr. Chen in the shop. I started by just folding clothes, but gradually I noticed things. His signage was old and faded. His business cards looked like they were from 1995. His flyers were photocopies of photocopies. Mr. Chen, I said one afternoon, would you let me help you with something? You already help. You fold very neat. No, I mean, I'm a graphic designer, or I was, before Emma. I could make you a new logo, new business cards, maybe a website. I saw him start to protest. Please, you won't let me pay rent. Let me do this. He considered it. Okay, but I pay you. No, Sophie. His voice was firm. You need money. You need to build back savings. I pay fair price for good work. This is how it should be. So I started designing. It felt good to use those skills again, to create something. I made Mr. Chen a clean, modern logo that still kept the vintage feel of his shop. I designed business cards, flyers, and a simple website. And he insisted on paying me, depositing money into a new bank account David had helped me set up. You have talent, Mr. Chen said, looking at the new sign I'd designed. You should do this for other businesses too. Mrs. Kim at nail salon, she always talk about wanting new menu design. Mr. Patel at convenience store need better signs. That's how it started. Word spread in the building. Within 2 weeks, I had 4 clients. Within a month, I had 10. Small jobs, but they added up. For the first time in 3 years, I had my own money. Marcus didn't take it well. He started showing up at the building, despite the restraining order. Mr. Chen would see him on the security cameras and call the police before Marcus even made it to the shop. The first time, Marcus got a warning. The second time, he spent a night in jail. Then he switched tactics. The flowers started arriving. Expensive bouquets with cards that said things like, I'm lost without you and Emma needs her father. When I didn't respond, the letters came. Long handwritten letters where he swung between apologizing and blaming me. I know I made mistakes, but you made me so angry. I'm in therapy now, learning to manage my stress better. You're destroying our family. I was folding a letter to show David when Mr. Chen sat down across from me. Sophie, I need to tell you something about your husband. I looked up. David. He hired a private investigator. Just to make sure we have all evidence for court. Mr. Chen pulled out his phone and showed me photos. Marcus at a hotel bar. Marcus with a blonde woman. Marcus and the same blonde woman entering a hotel room. The timestamp showed last Tuesday, the same day he'd sent me flowers and a letter about fighting for our marriage. I should have been devastated. Instead, I felt relieved. This was proof. Undeniable proof that everything he'd been saying was a lie. There's more, Mr. Chen said gently. Investigator found out Marcus. He taking money from his brokerage. Selling houses, not reporting full commission. Keeping difference. Not huge amounts, but steady, for maybe 2 years. He's embezzling? Yes. David already report to Marcus's broker and to State Real Estate Commission. They investigating now. I set down the letter. Why are you and David doing all this? I can't pay you for. Sophie. Mr. Chen's voice was gentle but firm. You remind me of my daughter-in-law, Jessica. When David first bring her home, she was like you. Quiet, always apologizing. Always small. He paused. Her first husband. He hit her. Not just yelling like your Marcus. Actual hitting. She escaped with nothing but clothes on her back. I didn't know. She doesn't talk about it much now. But she's strong now. She help other women, volunteer at shelter. She teach self-defense class. He smiled. She, the one who tell me to watch out for women in building who might need help. She, the one who make me promise if I see something, I do something. So when I see you in that car. He shook his head. I hear Jessica's voice in my head. Do something, Dad. Tears welled up in my eyes. Thank you, I whispered. You don't thank me. You take this chance and you build good life for you and Emma. That's how you thank me. The court date arrived faster than I expected. David had pushed for an expedited hearing due to the criminal endangerment charges. I dressed in a simple navy dress that Jessica had lent me, pulled my hair back, and tried not to shake as we entered the courthouse. Marcus was there with his own lawyer, looking expensive and confident in a tailored suit. When he saw me, he smiled like we were old friends running into each other. It made my skin crawl. The hearing was in front of a judge, not a jury. David had explained this was normal for restraining order extensions and emergency custody hearings. The criminal charges would be handled separately. David presented everything methodically, the security footage of Marcus locking us in the car, photos of Emma and me being treated by paramedics afterward, the documentation of the previous incidents, the bruises I'd photographed on my own phone, screenshots of Marcus's threatening texts, bank records showing how he'd controlled all our finances. Then David played the piece de résistance, body cam footage from the police officer who'd interviewed Marcus at his office. In it, Marcus was laughing. Actually laughing. "Officer, come on. My wife is being hysterical. She locked herself in the car to make me look bad. She probably called you herself once I left. This is just a messy divorce situation." The judge's expression didn't change, but I saw her write something down. Marcus's lawyer tried to argue that I was being vindictive, that I was trying to turn Emma against her father, that Marcus was a successful businessman who'd simply had a bad moment during a stressful time. Then David dropped the final bomb, the embezzlement investigation. Marcus's broker had already suspended his real estate license pending review. The State Commission had found irregularities in 15 different transactions. "Your Honor," David said calmly, "Mr. Marcus Rivera has demonstrated a pattern of deception, financial misconduct, and endangerment of his own child. The footage shows clear intent. He knew exactly what he was doing when he locked his wife and infant daughter in a vehicle during a heat advisory. His subsequent attempts to manipulate Miss Sophie Rivera and harass her despite a restraining order show he has no respect for the law or for his family's safety." The judge looked at Marcus. "Mr. Rivera, is there anything you'd like to say?" Marcus stood up, and I recognized the expression on his face. It was the one he used when he was about to charm a client. "Your Honor, I love my wife and daughter. I made a terrible mistake that day. I was under enormous stress. My biggest deal of the year had just collapsed. I'd been working 18-hour days, and I snapped. It was wrong, and I'm getting help for it. But to say I intentionally tried to hurt them? That's absurd. I'm their provider. I'm the one who pays for everything. Sophie can't even afford." "Mr. Rivera," the judge interrupted, "I've reviewed the evidence. The video footage alone is damning. You returned to that vehicle after 35 minutes, saw that the window had been broken and your family was no longer inside, and your first instinct was not to call 911 or check on their welfare. You left. You then proceeded to violate a restraining order multiple times. And now we have evidence of financial crimes that suggest a pattern of deception and manipulation." She shuffled her papers. "I'm granting Miss Rivera full temporary custody of the minor child, with supervised visitation only for Mr. Rivera, pending the outcome of criminal proceedings. The restraining order is extended indefinitely. Mr. Rivera, you are to have no contact with Miss Rivera, except through attorneys. Do you understand?" Marcus's face went white, then red. "This is insane. She's my wife. That's my daughter. Mr. Rivera, I suggest you sit down before I find you in contempt." He sat down, his hands clenched into fists. The judge continued. "Additionally, Miss Rivera is awarded temporary spousal support and child support, amounts to be determined at the next hearing. Mr. Rivera, you are also ordered to turn over all documentation related to marital assets within 14 days. She looked at me with something that might have been compassion. "Miss Rivera, I'm also granting you permission to change the locks on the marital residence and take possession of it temporarily. Mr. Rivera will be allowed to collect his personal belongings under police supervision." I couldn't breathe. I'd expected maybe an extension of the restraining order. I hadn't expected this. As we left the courtroom, I heard Marcus shouting behind us. "This isn't over, Sophie. You can't do this. I'll appeal." His lawyer was trying to quiet him, but Marcus was past listening. David guided me out quickly. "Don't look back," he said. "Just keep walking." Outside, Mr. Chen was waiting with Jessica and Emma. My baby girl was asleep in Jessica's arms, completely peaceful, unaware that her life had just changed forever. "How did it go?" Jessica asked. I couldn't speak. I just nodded, tears streaming down my face. "She got everything," David said, smiling. "Custody, the house, support, everything." Mr. Chen pulled me into a gentle hug. "You free now, Sophie. You and Emma both free." The next 3 months were chaos. Marcus's real estate license was revoked entirely when the investigation uncovered that he'd been skimming commissions for almost 3 years. His brokerage fired him and sued him for damages. The luxury sedan he'd been so proud of, leased, and he couldn't afford the payments anymore. The designer suits, maxed out credit cards. He tried to come to the building once more, drunk and angry, yelling about how I'd destroyed his life. Mr. Chen's security footage caught everything. He was arrested for violating the restraining order and spent 2 weeks in jail. Meanwhile, my little design business was growing. I'd moved from simple logos to full branding packages. I'd redesigned menus for 3 restaurants, created marketing materials for a law firm, not David's, and even landed a contract with a small startup. I was making enough to afford the apartment, pay for childcare, and start saving. Jessica had become my friend, my guide through this new world. She introduced me to her support group, other women who'd escaped abuse. She taught me that healing wasn't linear, that some days I'd feel strong and other days I'd wake up panicked. She showed me it was okay to be both grateful and grieving. 6 months after that day in the parking garage, I stood in front of Mr. Chen's laundry, with my own storefront next door. The landlord had agreed to rent me the empty space beside the shop. I'd designed my own sign, Sophie Rivera Design Studio. Mr. Chen stood next to me, holding Emma while I hung the sign. "Good work," he said, examining it. "Very professional." "I learned from the best," I said, smiling at him. "No," he said seriously. "You already had this inside you. You just needed to be safe enough to let it out." Emma reached for me, and I took her, kissing her forehead. She was 7 months old now, babbling and curious about everything. She'd never remember that day in the car. She'd never remember her father at all. Probably Marcus had stopped showing up for even supervised visitation after the criminal trial resulted in probation and mandatory anger management classes. "Mr. Chen," I said quietly, "that day, when you broke the window, you saved our lives. You know that, right?" He was quiet for a moment. "Maybe. But Sophie, you the one who saved your life. You the one who say no more. You the one who build all this." He gestured at my studio, at Emma, at me. "I just opened the door. You the one who walked through it." I thought about that, about the woman I'd been 6 months ago, trapped in more ways than one, about the woman I was now, standing in front of my own business, holding my happy baby, surrounded by people who'd become family. "Sometimes," I said, "we all need someone to open the door." Mr. Chen smiled. "Yes, and then we teach others to open doors too." Inside my new studio, I'd hung a quote on the wall. Jessica had given it to me, written in beautiful calligraphy. She believed she could, so she did. But underneath, I'd added my own line in my design style. But first, someone showed her the door was there. Emma grabbed at my necklace, gurgling happily. Through the window, I could see Marcus's old parking spot in the garage, now occupied by a minivan. I felt nothing when I looked at it. Not anger, not sadness, not even relief. Just nothing. He was part of my past, a chapter that had closed. My future was here, in this studio, with my daughter, with the community that had lifted me up when I couldn't stand on my own. I looked at Mr. Chen. "Ready to celebrate?" Jessica said. "She's bringing dumplings." "Always ready for Jessica's dumplings," he said, bouncing Emma gently. "This one ready too, I think." As we walked into my studio, into my new beginning, I realized something. I'd spent 3 years trying to be small enough, quiet enough, perfect enough for Marcus, trying to avoid his anger, to manage his moods, to fix whatever was broken in him. But I couldn't fix him. That was never my job. My job was to save myself and Emma. And with help from people who saw us, who cared, who opened that door, I did. The window Marcus shattered in Mr. Chen's BMW was replaced within days. But some broken things can't be fixed. Some broken things shouldn't be. Sometimes you have to let them stay broken, walk away, and build something completely new. And sometimes, if you're very lucky, when you're at your lowest point, someone will see you, really see you, and they'll do something. For me, that someone was an elderly man with a laundry shop and a tire iron and a son who knew exactly what justice looked like. For someone else, it might be a different stranger, a different moment. But I learned this. We're not meant to survive alone. We're meant to open doors for each other, to break windows when necessary, to say, "Stay here, you're safe now," to someone who desperately needs to hear it. That's what Mr. Chen did for me. That's what I'll do for someone else when their moment comes. Because now I know what the door looks like, and I know how to help someone walk through it.